Hello, my name is Ronan Bryan from Director Zone TV. Welcome to SME World, a program which focuses on interesting people, companies and phenomena from the growth company marketplace. In other words, the engine room of any nation's economy. Today we meet David White, internet entrepreneur and author, to discuss internet strategy and social media. David runs Weboptimiser, an online marketing agency with clients all over the globe. David, thank you very much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
So who are you and what does your business do?
I run Weboptimiser.com. Weboptimiser is a service organisation and we help people turn their strategic plan into business. We help map their business to the online world, also the offline world, because online and offline can work together. And I actually have a definition for that I've called cross-media optimization. But it's all about the strategic mapping. That's the core concept of what we do. And it's because so few people actually do it. What happens is everyone gets lost down the rabbit run of Twitter or get totally focused on Facebook, or as they have been, totally focused on Google. Any one of these fantastic shiny objects, because that's what they amount to, that you can go and play games on. All of these pieces of software, all of these tools are actually hammers and nails. They are not the plan. They are not the path to where you want to go.
Are you selling these hammers and nails?
We supply services that show you how to use the hammer and nail, how to create a plan that is strategic for your business. So knowing what you want to achieve is one thing, knowing how to use these various tools is another, and the two things are often not related.
What are the dimensions of Weboptimiser? What sort of size are you?
Weboptimiser turnover is in millions. For our customers, we deliver billions. We're in central London, we're really in the city, but actually we've got locations across the world, in the US, across Europe, and beyond.
And who are your customers?
We've worked with one-man bands, medium-sized companies, to international and global brands. So anyone from the names that you know, Sony, IBM, Marriott, hotel groups, travel industry, Virgin Money, financial, accounts.
Great names. Yeah. So if I understand correctly, you make a bridge between the online economy and the real world. Now let's imagine that I was a CEO of a brilliant startup company and we're looking to make our way in the world, perhaps raise funding. What sort of services would you offer for us? How would you take care of us?
It's a very fast process. The more early stage you are, the clearer your focus is likely to be. So therefore the easier it is and the less expensive it's going to be, because there's going to be less things to perhaps roll back or change. There's going to be less habits that we might need to undo, because we can just take you to where you need to go immediately, straight away. So helping a new company from get off the blocks and get going, that's always an exciting prospect.
Okay, let's take another example. Let's say that we're an established company, successful, private or listed, and perhaps we're seeking further investment for growth. What would you do for us?
Well, you may already have PR in place. And that PR part of your business may be communicating really well with the financial institutions, with the city. They might be working really well in playing that game and making that work for you. Strategically, you've already got a really good fit. Now, we might find that some of that information has a crossover to new markets, but we almost certainly find that the established routes to market that you have probably don't communicate to the new markets that you'd like to get into. So again, it's about taking the resources that you have on one hand, that you already have within your business, that an established business has within its business, and then mapping that strategy, those resources, onto the online tools that are now available, that are perhaps beyond the remit of your existing marketing communications channel, that are fundamentally targeting the city.
David, can I just ask you about some of the challenges that your company has faced and how you've overcome them?
Well, probably most of the challenges are people related. I think most people have these as challenges. Over the last 5-6 years, we've massively downsized the company.
Okay.
We've done that as a deliberate policy, and actually, if you count back 5 or 6 years, it was really before the recession was really known and recognised.
Yeah.
We didn't do it for recessionary reasons. We actually did it for the purpose of clearing communication. We used to hire some very expensive experts.
Yeah.
And of course, in that, they were very opinionated. You know, the whole scene became very political. And if you're not careful, in this new burgeoning world of technology, it does become very political very quickly because everyone's trying to throw their weight around and show you what ought to be done.
Yeah.
But actually, it boils down to understanding the business strategy. And most people in the technology world are often not young enough or not old enough, or both, to really understand the business. They've just been siloed in their technology area.
Yeah.
And to an extent, you know, they can cause more trouble than they're worth in terms of results. Will they just cost more money? Are they just another shiny object? Now, actually understanding that and realizing that that can be a big problem in business, I know is to an extent is a controversial statement, but it's also a real issue that we faced, and it's a challenge that we've sought to overcome.
So you decluttered your business, you sought clarity and found it, and then regathered your forces and energies.
You know, when I started out, which is many, many years ago now, people said back then, it was 8BG as I like to call it, 8 years before Google did their IPO,
Yeah.
people would say to me continuously,
Yeah.
search engines will never take off. Okay?
Great one.
So what has been the #1 internet property for the last 10, 12 years?
Let me think now.
Google,
Yeah.
okay? It's a search engine.
Yeah.
So fundamentally, you know, I always end up doing things against the way that you think they, you know, I'm the guy
You're a
that,
contrarian.
I run to the fire.
Okay. You're a crazy guy.
Everyone runs away from the fire.
Yeah.
That's a sign for me to run to the fire, okay?
Yeah.
I will probably find somewhere that's a safe hideout and stay warm. Whereas everyone else will run away from the fire and freeze to death.
I guess this is also why you are sort of known as a guru in the industry. You write books, you love ideas and you love transmitting those, which brings me to the innovation question. What makes Weboptimiser so innovative? What sets you apart from others in the industry?
#1, because we focus on the business,
Okay.
the strategic development of a business, the strategic focus of the business, and as you must do, we really pander to the needs of people.
So David, what's new?
One of the newest things that I think is really interesting and exciting, worrying as well,
Yeah.
is the freaky line. People are now considered to be moving through the freaky line.
The freaky line, right?
And
Okay.
I think this is very, well, for some people, it is obviously very worrying. And this is where applications exist on mobile and PC technology that fundamentally follow you around. So effectively, with mobile phones, you could be leaving an ant trail of your movement. So every time you go to a local shop, a store,
Yes.
a restaurant, okay, your favorite magazine shop, which might not be somewhere you'd want other people to see an ant trail, can be seen.
Right.
Now, the kind of the upside, of course, is that you can see where ant trails pass. And if everyone is digitally connected, you can learn more about the people around you because if we're all connecting and holding these devices.
So the first thing that's new is the freaky line and the ant trails that we're all leaving around.
It's always new things in blogs, there's Pinterest, there's new changes in Facebook, you know. But the whole thing to business, all of this doesn't matter in a sense, because the most important thing is the strategic use of all of these tools.
Okay.
All of these tools, at the end of the day, are really hammers and nails. And like hammers and nails, they are pretty useless to the business or the builder if you don't have a plan. Now, in a building, you have a plan and an architect and a drawing, and you build something and you end up with a property or a house.
Yeah.
In business, You end up with a plan which is a strategic development plan that grows your business, satisfies more clients, and puts money in your bank account. And that's really the only view from a business perspective that you need to really look at all of these tools. Do they, number one, fulfill the strategic plan? So that starts from the fact that you need to have a strategic plan.
That would be great. Yeah.
The reality is, of course, is these systems are designed for gameplay, human gameplay.
Yeah.
These systems are another shiny object. We shall enjoy them. They are geared to be enjoyable. They are a game.
Yeah.
Okay. So the reality is will they actually match onto your business? And as we know, most of the technologies that have been around haven't really achieved that, with some exceptions. So exceptions include the big mammoths like Amazon, etc. But we're not all Amazon. Still 25% of businesses don't even have an online presence.
So you're saying using the internet strategically is a new thing?
Absolutely. There are so few doing it. Look, most people are just using the internet. They're not using the internet strategically.
Okay, so we've talked about the freaky line and using the internet strategically. Where do you come in to all of this?
Well, creating a strategic plan, many businesses will already have a strategic plan. So our objective is to map that plan onto all the different assets that exist within the internet.
And can't they do that themselves?
Well, normally what happens is they do one thing. So for instance, someone will open a Twitter account, or they'll open a Facebook account, or they'll do both, or they'll do loads of things, and they'll outsource it to someone whose job it is just to do Facebook. In other words, where's they struggle to find the strategy. And you can end up in a situation where you're putting out mixed messages and you're putting out a lot of activity that's not actually getting you a return. If you holistically view these things from the perspective of strategy, then you can create a story process that can map across them all and start using them much more to your advantage, because these tools are very powerful. And I really obviously support them. But let's not play with them, let's actually use them for your business.
So if I understand correctly, you are experts in the use, you as Web Optimiser are experts in the use of these tools, but in fact, your main offering engagement with companies is their strategy.
Absolutely. Most businesses work with a local mindset. I am here today and this is what I can do. But actually, a local business and a local business mindset can often just be simply transformed to work on a national basis. And if it can work nationally, it can work internationally. Many years ago, I came up with a concept, cross-media optimization, and it's about delivering stories and information to consumers across different media so that they can consume it in the way that they want to consume it.
Okay.
Because people do consume things in different ways. And if you don't give it to them in the way that they want to consume it, it will go unconsumed.
Sorry, yes.
So our difference, if you like, is understanding the consumer from a consumption perspective, married to actually taking the time to get a good understanding of your strategic business.
So your innovation is less about the tools and more about the strategy and helping that company to make money.
Just to put it to bed, those tools are hammers and nails. They are not the plan. Okay, you can bang nails into pieces of wood all you like, but without a plan, you're not going to build a house.
Let's talk about some of those tools. Watching this interview are CEOs of lots of interesting companies, and they regularly see organisations such as the BBC talking about their Facebook account. Should we have a Facebook account?
Yes, you absolutely should, but I'm going to be controversial again. Why should you follow what the BBC does? How does that affect your business plan? Just because the BBC are doing or suggesting Facebook, why should you go there? If it suits your business plan, and you are targeting people that are using Facebook, or you actually have a system that is engaging with the people that are on Facebook.
And does Facebook work in a B2B environment rather than simply a B2C, business to consumer environment?
All of the tools and technologies will work for any kind of business, B2B or business to consumer, but only if you actually have a process that maps to your business plan, because otherwise you'll have people well, you probably won't have many people engaging, and you'll be on Facebook and wondering why it's not working for you. And it's because the last mile, as they call it in telephony, isn't connected. Okay? You've got this big business.
The last mile is not connected. So you mean in a B2B?
Or the last 100 yards, exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
You've got the big pipe outside that can funnel all this information, but actually you're missing the last piece between you and the consumer.
And do you go to other people's business Facebook pages? And if so, why? What do you do there?
Oh, absolutely. I've actually compared thousands of them.
Okay.
And the reason I'm constantly comparing and looking at them is partly because I want to see what's in vogue and what appears to work and what might be working.
Yeah.
And partly because different businesses work in different ways, and what we learn from one business can work on another business. It's like what we see happening in the US could work here. What works here could work in the US. At the end of the day, there's this thing called internet speed, and there's another thing that I like to refer to as human speed. Yeah. Clearly, we're slower, but actually, we can be faster too, because if you're not taking up the technology, okay, then that's very slow. But if you take up the technology, now the technology could be my book. That is a form of technology, and actually it's why books are still successful in this digital age. Yeah. Because people still like reading books. So we have to consider the way we work as humans, as individuals, and how we match the technology and what we want to communicate. In other words, the business plan. So the internet and all of this is just a conduit. It's just a new telephone.
Yeah, and I guess it depends on who your target audience is. You may, as a CEO, be seeking to communicate with your team.
Absolutely. It's that message to market and the medium, or the 3 M's really. Message, market, medium. So what messages do you want to get across the medium, and what market is that medium addressing? And it could be multiple messages, multiple medium, multiple markets. Branding is very powerful. It can be a way of attracting people, but you still need to have a communications platform run throughout. I have davidwhite.tv.
Okay.
I live the brand, but the reason I do it is it allows you to see the whites of my eyes. Yeah. I run my own business, or I am a CEO of my own business. Every consumer expects the CEO of their business to be seen. There's famous names that we probably all know who are leaders in their business. Now, they're only known as leaders within their business because they put their name to it. And as a result, they're running the bigger, more established companies.
So you're saying personal branding is the ultimate competitive edge?
Absolutely.
Give us some examples. So someone is watching this at the moment, they don't have a Twitter account, they don't have a blog, they certainly don't have a Facebook account. What recommendations would you give to them for their personal branding?
Start off by understanding and determining their personal story. So everyone has an origination story. Why did I do this? Why do I do this? What excites me about this industry? These are called, referred to as, origin stories. Okay. There's actually about 7 or 8 different types of stories that you can employ, but the basic one is the origin story. Why do you do what you do? What excites you about this industry that you work in? Why do you still do it? There's a reason, and everyone has that reason. And that reason is very, very appealing to people. In my case, I was interested in technology, and I worked in missile guidance. I am a rocket scientist to that extent. That sounds okay, and it even sounds entertaining and funny, except when you start realizing that my rockets kill people. And that's something that I realized. Yeah. And I woke up to that after a couple of years of being in that industry and thought, that was fun, but actually, I don't want to do that anymore. It's wrong. I'm going to stop. And I changed my career. And I changed it now to I do spend a lot of time, all of my time really, communicating with others. I believe, that other people are interesting, and it's up to us to preserve our world, not to destroy it. Everyone has a story, and everyone should be getting that story out there, because for every moment they're not getting their story out there, they're actually leaving the door wide open for their competitor to get in there.
David, perhaps we can ask you to give us some tips for search engine optimization.
Well, the first thing is you need to have a plan. So you want to be listed in a search engine for a reason against a given set of terms, some keywords. So your business plan will include as to why you are different, what you have. You will have worked that out, or you would not be making any sales. So first of all, you need to match that to your web presence.
Yes.
So for some people, their web presence gets in the way of their business plan. It actually is a business stopper.
That's interesting.
Right? So the first one is to kind of free it up, make it work. So that's fairly obvious, but it's an obvious one. 25% of businesses don't have any website.
So you're saying that our websites can be a business prevention tool?
Absolutely. 25% of major brands have zero website. So how many of the remaining 75% of well-known brands have good websites? Well, the answer to that is actually very few. Okay? Because usually there's only one or two leader in every sector. I think we'll all agree to that one. Okay? And everyone else is still trying. Okay? And whilst they're trying, one of the things that may well be left behind or not understood or not have a budget for, or any one of a number of reasons, they'll have poor websites. They'll have websites that don't allow you to communicate or buy. They maybe have an information website. They maybe have a brochure website.
Yeah.
They don't have an interactive website.
Yeah.
Okay. And unless you really map the strategy to the technology, you won't know how to interact or what to interact. And then you take that and you then start considering all the other technologies, and you know what, a lot of people just go, that's too much. I've got a real business to deal with. Well, guess what? That is the real business, and you're missing out because the cost of that is largely zero to communicate with your target market. The cost of producing a story and putting it into the different media, has some cost, but it's a marginal cost.
Yeah.
In fact, it's more about what's happening in your head is the hard part, mapping the strategy to the technology, to the market, to the digital market.
To the content.
Getting that communication happening, that last mile, that last 100 yards.
Give us some more tips for search engine optimization.
Certainly, your website should work. Secondly, it should be orientated around the keywords that are right for your business.
Okay, keywords.
So lots of websites have a nice home button on them.
Yep.
And that's a waste of space.
Really?
Yep, because just about everyone knows you click on a logo at the top and the right to get home. There's content usually on a website that is about you.
Yeah.
Not necessarily content that's about the consumer.
Okay.
So you might, like I've been around, I could tell you about all my different case studies. I could spend a lot of time telling you about my history, my background since 1996, and it's all very interesting to me. You're sitting there the whole time saying, yeah, but David, what can you do for me?
Yeah.
So the quicker I actually start asking you questions, which I could do on the front page of my website, and I do actually ask one question, which is what is your email address on the front page of my website, but then I take you through a process of asking questions, and I allow you to browse through my website if that's what you want to do. And when you're happy that this is likely to be a company that suits you, then you can fill in the form, and you have the option to start engaging with us. So I don't really force it on you either.
So David, what does the future look like, and where are the opportunities?
Well, the immediate future, there's going to be some really good results coming out of the recession.
Okay.
People who are here now, who have worked really hard, who have managed their business, they will be obviously first out of the blocks. They will be stronger, they'll be leaner, they'll be faster, they'll be more effective than they probably were before.
Okay.
They'll be more successful. There will be, for sure, more technology, more surprises, okay, more things for us to learn. But those companies that come out of the gate, they'll be the ones that have started to master mapping the strategy to the technology. Okay. And increasingly, we can definitely expect more businesses to master that art. And we're seeing it now. Some of the survivors, if you like, are the ones that are not just thinking locally, that are thinking nationally and are taking advantage of international markets as well. So they are the ones that have reduced their limitations by expanding their horizons. And most of this online technology is free. It's just actually mapping the strategy to the technology, which is quite easy to do once you know how to do it. And then it's actually doing it. It's the implementation.
David, now, if I'm not mistaken, you are an author. I know I'm not mistaken because I have one of your books here with me today. You're writing a couple of other books. Tell us about those.
One book is Internet Marketing, which is very focused on strategy. Okay. And I interview some of the successes, some of the successful players, some of the successful businesses that have made their business work online and indeed support other businesses. So they've got a lot of expertise about making businesses work strategically online. So it's not just me talking about it, I'm sharing the views of others. My second book that I'm planning to launch this year is actually on recession suppression. So it's about the fact, we can't deny it, there is a recessionary air about the world. And there are certain things that you can do within it. It's part of the strategic play that you need to take. So obviously, there are certain people in the world, perhaps your world, who can't afford what you sell. And some people will cut prices in order to meet that demand. But that would be the wrong thing to do in most cases, because all you're going to do is cut margin and sell to the same people. So they're going to benefit, but you're going to shrivel and potentially die.
So there are business leaders out there that are working all the hours that God send, and there's an awful lot of information to be on top of, to process. How can you help?
Go to Weboptimiser.com, dial the number across, say that you saw me on Director Zone. We'll set up a meeting. I'll be there for you. I will give them 1 hour in the city or near one of our offices, completely free of charge. Maybe a phone call, maybe in person. I'll try and make it in person. Look, show me the business and I'll show you the money.
David, on behalf of our followers across the globe, our people, thank you very, very much for joining us in the studio. We wish you every success with your books. Just remind us of the 2 books you've got coming out this year.
Recession Suppression and Internet Marketing.
David, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
To make contact with David White, please go to weboptimiser.com. And if you'd like your company to be profiled on Director Zone TV, please get in touch. We'd love to hear from you.